Hello everyone, welcome back to Olympic Foil. Today I'm going to be doing a bout breakdown with special guest Joseph Schenkel. Joseph Schenkel is a coach at S-Class Fencing in Vancouver and also one of the people running the S-Class Fencing YouTube channel, which you probably know. And thank you very much for being here today, Joseph.
Oh, thanks for having me. I really appreciate it. Also, Eli is my brother. If you guys know Eli Schenkel. Yeah, we're the same Schenkel. Yeah. But yeah, thanks for having me. I'm a huge fan of your channel, huge fan of your content. So, and this match is good. It's such a good match for anyone who knows Misha, for anyone who knows Nick. It's a great match. I think everybody should watch it. You see so much meta fencing in this match.
Yeah, I'm very excited for this. So let me get rid of my camera and we can go ahead and watch.
Alrighty. Okay, so let me just move this. Okay, so first thing I want to talk about is their unguards because it's so slow.
It's at half speed, I see.
Yeah, we're okay. I see.
So the referee is Florence, a French referee who is very great. I like her a lot. She refereed at the Olympics.
How do I get rid of it?
Oh, Jesus Christ.
Big touch. Yeah, first thing I want to talk about is their unguards. Because I think this is something that changed a lot, like even from a couple years ago. I think a couple years ago, every country had a lot more stylistic differences, like the French fence like the French, the Italians fence like the Italians. But I think this type of unguard with a wide stance is becoming a lot more ubiquitous. I also think that a lot more people are doing something with their back arm. So yeah, his feet start close together, but as soon as he starts moving, boom, super wide. Also, for all those kids out there that are watching, look at how low they bend their knees.
That was an interesting touch. The flicks were pretty good before already with Jamie Cook, but now they're just, yeah, it's crazy stuff.
Classic Nick. So one thing that you see Nick do a lot is that compound action, and let's go back to it. Yeah, this bent arm position. My coach used to call this blade in the frame, meaning like the entire from your tip to your elbow remains a straight line. And so if you're breaking your wrist at all, you'll have a hard time hitting actions like this. But yeah. Another thing that I think is super important, and again, it doesn't matter if you're Nick, Chung Kao Long, any of the like top 8 have this really long, beautiful lunge where your foot extends into a letter K at like the furthest point. So here, you get like a K instead of like a lot of people I think shoot their knee out and then flick their foot out. I think you want to get to this position at the end of your lunge. How you get there, I guess that's more up to you. But I'm noticing a lot more people do that really pretty lunge. Okay.
Yes. It's a bit of a height difference, which makes for a fun bout.
Huge height difference, yeah.
But not much of a speed difference.
No, yeah, not at all.
When Jamie Cook is good Remise, doing that slow approach forward to taking the blade and then hiding in different lines, it's very Timur Safin, if you know what I mean.
Yeah. All right, so
beautiful.
Great touch. I want to talk about a couple of things here. A lot of things happen here. So first of all, I think this match is a really good example of what I would consider the two meta movements in fencing right now, which are hops and gallops. So a gallop is not quite an advance. It's kind of like this skipping motion that you'll often see people do. For example, Nick isn't doing it yet, but right there, those are 2 gallops. So we go here. If you guys just focus on Nick for a sec. When he advances here, those 2 little steps there, I would consider gallops. The other thing is that Jamie's doing a lot of hopping, and if you've paid attention to our channel at all, hopping in and out is super important, especially if you're not the tallest fencer. Like you'll see Amora do it all the time. There are a lot of people who hop around, and there's a reason for that. It reduces your movement to a single tempo, meaning a single, like to move backward or forward, instead of taking 2 steps, like or 2 movements to execute, it takes a single one. So it's very important. Right now you're seeing Jamie use line, and you'll actually see Nick use line in almost the exact same way. So line is a very multifunctional tool. First of all, you are establishing a concrete threat. The threat being like, hey, I'm taking priority with point and line. And, you know, a lot of people think it's like, well, you never hit with line. He will later in this match, spoiler. But again, the threat of being able to hit with line is the important thing. Arguably more important than that threat is the ability to measure how far or close your opponent is. So right now, especially with Nick's speed and reputation, Jamie's like, oh shoot, I'm like in trouble here. So you're going to see him like break distance, meaning that he's going to get outside of that distance. Now that there's broken distance, the distance has expanded, Jamie can start doing his own version of invitations. So here he does an appel. Let's go back. There again, you see that really long leg extension, but right over, yeah, here. So let's slow that down. So if you pay attention to Jamie's front toe, he's going to do like this tapping motion. It's not a stomp, it's a tap, where he goes tap. And for those of you who don't know, I think, correct me if I'm wrong, but appel means to call in French. And he's basically saying, hey, idiot, I'm doing something. And that's a really crucial part of that type of invitation. Nick accelerates.
Goes for
Jamie's expecting it because, again, he basically asked him to do that. And now we get this funny jump. And I know for a lot of people watching it's flashy, but it's actually really smart. It's another way to draw out a counter. He's like, look, I'm in the air, I can't do anything, but I think that jump is pre-planned. He was expecting a counter, obviously, and he got what he wanted in that, and boom.
Amazing. What a touch.
Yeah, it was a great touch. They're both hitting with a lot of really pretty things, in my opinion. I think fencing as a whole has gotten a lot cleaner than even a couple years ago. Oh, beauty. That's like an actual feint disengage.
Yeah.
Which you rarely see. Usually people get around people's blade actions with compounds. I would consider this kind of a feint disengage. He points a little bit forward. Yeah, really nice.
A lot of remises for Nick Itkin in this bout, I noticed.
I mean, I think remises are a really important tool. Nick is a really pretty fencer, and if you compare his fencing from a couple years ago to now, he's changed very little. I'm not going to talk about everything he's changed because he's my coach's kid, and I could, but I'm not going to. But I think one thing that I think anyone with access to video will realize is that he used to do a lot more, I would say, running attacks where he would, pull his arm and literally run at the target and then hit. Or his compound was a lot less pretty because he didn't actually lunge. What allows him to get these remises is that he takes full advantage of his range by hold on, let's go back to that last off target, because this is an important thing that a lot of higher level fencers will do, is that he's in a full extension. Hold on, where's that remise? There we go. So instead of being really, really close to Jamie, where Jamie has the advantage, like in that last touch, their feet were almost past. So again, Jamie's smaller, so he can remise better. Notice that from here, they're closer to Nick's extension distance than Jamie's, so he actually has the advantage of remising, especially because he's going to poke run away instead of infight. So if you plan to remise, you probably want to lunge, not flesh.
Lovely.
Another appel.
I love those sort of Super
Alright.
Mario hops.
Yeah, so let's go back to this touch, because again, in terms of setup, again, I can't speak for Jamie, but I can say that the way the touch works, whether it was intentional or not, is, again, he uses line to measure break distance. Now he knows he has enough room for some tomfoolery. So just like before, he appels and Nick takes the bait, goes into the attack. But this time, he's ready to cancel it. So so it's still his right of way. He hasn't just ran at him and gotten parried or whatever. He's still holding on to right of way. So here, and again, don't, like, if you don't understand what he's doing, don't copy it. These hops are just an invitation, okay? He knows he can land in time to do whatever he was gonna do. If you're hopping like this and you're too close to the opponent, and like again, maybe some of you know how to fly, but I don't. If you're in the air, you're gonna get hit. But he knows he's safe from this distance. So again, he shows he's gonna run away. So that's 2 times he's done an invitation and broken distance. Invitation, broken distance. So now the logical thing to do next is to guess and close in, which he does. Yeah. And for those of you who watched the what's it called video, the Chase Emmer video that we did a couple months ago, it's almost the same type of counterattack. It's lunge and then hide. And you'll see a lot of people do that.
I see what you mean, yeah.
Beautiful.
Yeah. It's slow start.
Yeah,
like they're really feeling it out, I think.
I mean, for Nick, yeah. Like usually he tears through people, or at least, yeah. Let me see if he. Let me see this one again. I just wanted to draw attention to what people do in the middle. That was no accident. I'm not going to tell you his line of thinking, but for people out there that are like, oh man, how is he so fast? Like, I think fencers at this level will often predetermine what they're going to do, especially in the middle. Like, so if you're not ready to like blitz or invite or something, like if you're trying to wait and see what the opponent does, you are at a huge disadvantage. Now, I'm not going to say that that's true in every case. Like, obviously, if you live in Italy and you are taking, like, 20 lessons a week and you're, like, training full-time as an Olympian, then, a slow start step can still be practical. But if you are, like, someone who's younger or fences more recreationally, hard reads are going to be your friend just because you lack that training. Yeah. So, very pretty. Like, again, a slight weird signal, something unconventional. A couple things. First of all, he goes to the side, so it's like, okay, what's that about? And then he lifts the foot. And all of this, for me, is magic and illusions. Does it really change anything? No. But it does change the opponent's comfort level. And you're like, while you're asking yourself, what is he about to do? I, again, think this kind of action was pre-planned. And he's like, yep, found what I'm looking for. And then it just goes for it.
Was that sort of the first pushing attack Jamie did? I can't quite remember. But the others, I think, were...
Yeah, I think so. I think he tried and then got stopped early. But I think, yeah, that's pretty much the first time they've gone past Nick's on-guard line.
Well, it worked.
Yeah. Now, one thing to note, and another reason I like this match, is the versatility of touches we've seen. Jamie's gotten a flick, he's gotten a counterattack, he's gotten a running flush. Nick, on the other hand, is also pretty versatile with the touches he's going to get. Right now, though, it's important to note that Nick is definitely winning the middle, in my opinion. He's gotten, I think, like 3 out of 5 just straight in the middle.
He's usually very good in the middle as well, at particular strength. It seems like. Lovely.
Beautiful. Yeah. Blah, blah, blah.
I think that counts as winning in the middle as well again, yeah?
Yeah.
Attack from the left!
Yeah, I would say attack from left. Or I don't know what they actually call it, but... Oh man, actually it's pretty close. Actually, if they call that silent, they call it silent.
Let's see.
Yeah. But I think this is just to further that point in that we made earlier with the lunge quality. Like, just look at how symmetrical their lunges look.
With the straight front leg.
with a straight front leg and arms high. I am actually convinced that the expression "who has the upper hand." I know there's like debate on where it comes from, but I am convinced it comes from fencing, because you'll notice whoever has the upper hand in the middle, like the literal higher hand, it looks more like their touch. It looks more dominant. And yes, Nick is taller than Jamie, but you know, just from this angle, from without any other context, it just looks like he's a little bit more dominant, and I think that goes pretty much universally. But we'll
interesting theory. That's cool.
That's based on absolutely nothing, by the way. Yeah. Okay. Well, yeah. Okay. Great.
Point in line, appels, hops, the whole works.
Right. So, great positive video moment here is we've seen this interaction happen now, I think 3 times, 2 of which Jamie has scored, and then 1 of which Nick has scored. So Nick is the last one to score, right? So Jamie has now 3 or 4 times done line into upper uphill into hops, and the first time he did parry repost, or he successfully defended with a parry, then did his own push into parry repost. The second time he did get away, and then counter in, and then now the third time Nick called out the uphell, so he's like, I know he's gonna uphell, and then he did compound through. So now the question is, audience who's watching, what do you think Jamie's going to do this time? What do you think Nick is going to do this time? And I think this is where the real fencing happens, where you have to guess. It's kind of like playing Go Fish. You're like, okay, well, we know this has happened before. Now what is the opponent going to do? Up. Oh, beauty. So this time, Nick is doing the appel. And I think, again, the super meta move, something that you used to see Nick do a lot more, that I think he hasn't had to, because his measurement with line is so good that he can search out of it like immediately without needing to do the appel. But we see that same go to the side, hop move that Jamie was doing earlier, but now Nick is ready for it. Notice now Nick has line out, and he's going to do the appel. Bop. Okay, and there's even a search, and we've talked about searches in the past. These types of searches force your opponent to pull. Opponent's arm is back, so you can, remise and poke run away and stuff. You could argue that Jamie got unlucky there, but when people say unlucky to me, I just think you don't know fencing, because there is no luck in fencing. Like, I don't believe in luck. I believe that things happen when they happen under your own terms, and if you miss, you probably got tricked or got in some way. Obviously, if you miss and like your blade is not working, that's a special situation, but I think his blade works.
And Itkin is so fire with the remises. In Milan, he got so many, I remember. Just the speed, the infighting, take a shot and then just get out.
I think his remises come down to his ability to space his attacks well. It's kind of like Marth from Super Smash Brothers. You can go and then you can go again, assuming like the opponent has to step forward to get you. If you're already in your own arm's reach, as opposed to their arm's reach, and again, he's pretty tall.
It's funny how that touch is kind of a carbon copy of what happened before, up until that point. That touch.
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing. Like, high-level fencing is like only a couple interactions repeated over and over. Oh, there's the actual line. Yeah.
So he
which is a really smart mix-up, because again, we've seen this interaction so many times, and this time, instead of going back and doing the appel and doing the double hop like everything, he's just like, wait, what if I reduce and I just wait for the attack? He's not going to expect that, and he didn't.
It was really conditioned into ignoring it.
Yeah, conditioning is a great word for that. I agree. Conditioning and deconditioning people is a lot of high-level fencing prep. Like, that's basically what your prep should be. Like, there's 3 types of prep. Rush down, like, I'm going to just guess something off the line, which, again, very important for the middle. You have deconditioning, where you don't want your opponent to realize you're doing something, and then you have conditioning, where you want them to realize you're doing something, then punish them for realizing you're doing it.
So, 9-8, and it feels really early in the bout still, which is interesting.
Yeah.
Lovely.
Beautiful counter. Yeah. And again, notice that he's also using line to measure. This distance for Nick is really close. From here, he needs a very slight, like he may not even need to go forward to touch the blade, right? It's because Jamie isn't hiding it. So let's slow it down. So then, yeah, when he does do that forward motion, and which again, notice how small it is. Like, notice how little his foot moves. Oops. Jamie is forced to pull his arm back, and then you get a counter or remise or whatever. Hop.
That was also
very
nice.
Smart mix-up from Nick. Yeah. So again, like we've seen that whole interaction, the pointed line, upper lunge, hop, so many times now, and the mix-ups are like the game is played around that. If this was chess, I think this is a very closed game in the sense that, like, that's the only that's the major defensive interaction that's happening, and the game is built off of that. If they were playing a series, it's like Jamie is using the same, I guess, opening. I'm not sure if that's the right analogy, but it's like he's using the same opening, and Nick is finding, can he get through that opening? Can he not? In this case, if we count all the touches that have been scored, this is the first time he's been like, okay, I'm going to do a second intention action. So he did not intend to hit that first. His whole plan there was to remise, and I think that worked out really well for him. He did fake lunge,
incredible thinking. Because Jamie sort of pulled him short or parried with that all the other times. Wouldn't expect that.
Yeah, so he's like, I'm going to take advantage of that. I'm going to let him parry. I'm going to let him think he got me.
Another nice remise, just unlucky, off target. Oh wait, sorry, I'm not supposed to say unlucky.
Yeah, there's no luck, what do you mean, man? And interestingly, like, again, this interaction happened earlier. I think Nick's, like, 9th point or 10th point or whatever. No, 9th point or 10th point. He got that remise earlier in this situation. Remember how he was pointing at him, he did that little surge, Jamie pulled and then missed. This time, Jamie's actually ready for it, and notice he'll get his light on. So he does the same pull as before, but he's a little bit more ready to actually hit. So that might factor in later.
One thing I really like about this match is that it feels like Jamie Cook is locked in the whole time.
Yeah.
Which is nice. Like the entire battle.
I mean, from a body language perspective, he looks very calm. Like, he's not jittery, he's not rocking around. And something I encourage you to look at if you are a viewer that likes to watch fencing videos is just look at how people act on the strip. I think both fencers here are very classy, very composed. They're not yelling at each other, not yelling at the ref. This is good stuff.
There was a bit of a roll of the dice, maybe.
Yeah, but like, yeah, he has. I guess he kind of had to. Better to go for it. And it was not a dumb move. I think everything here has been really good so far, and a lot of versatility. The preparations have been very similar, but the actual finishes are different almost every time.
What a lunge! It's crazy how fast Nick Itkin is, considering how much taller he is as well.
Yeah, I mean, if you see the way he trains, yeah, he earns it. He's a ridiculously hard worker. But this is less to do with the actual action, but just pay attention to Nick's back arm. You see, like, a lot of classic fencing manuals, have the back arm kind of high, and I know a lot of people might think that's silly, but if you look at Bryce, Louis, and Nick, I think they are a really good argument for doing something with your back arm instead of just letting it dangle to the side. It really keeps them balanced. At S-Class, we call it your cat's tail because it is like a cat tail. So whenever Nick does something meaningful with the blade, his back arm will almost always extend out to compensate. And you can see Jamie is similar. Like, again, I don't know if he's conscious of it or not, but their back arms are both doing something whenever they do something on the blade. And when they lunge.
Really fencing with the whole body.
Yeah. Using every tool you have.
So, right at the end. Oh, that was...
Great guesses from both of them.
It landed. Very good. The flicks are crazy. Best touch of the bout. If you go back and have a look at it, for me, this touch is totally because of the point and line touch from earlier. See him stick his arm out, and then Itkin's like, I won't give him the time to get the point in line. I'll just hit him.
Yeah. But I'm gonna show it again for the viewers, just so they can see. I'm gonna go to super slow motion now.
And then parade repass. So by scoring the line touch, he basically gave himself another free touch later as well, tactically.
Yeah.
Which happens a lot with line.
It's also important to... Yeah, again, they both use it. Like, if you go to any Nick video, you'll see him abuse line. As soon as he fails an attack, boom, line. But what's interesting to note is how they both hop in and out. Again, a super meta thing to do right now is in the middle or in general when you're defending, hop in and hop out to check. Great take from Nick. Again, with a hop out. There's the line, drawing the attack, bang, bang. Really pretty touch.
Yeah, it's interesting because from Itkin's perspective, it was also a very clever touch. Be like, oh, he's trying point and line again. I'll hit him like this.
He did the right thing, but yeah.
I'll get ahead of it.
Yeah, I agree.
So even score.
Speaking of that though, so just what you said, Nick did the right thing, right? He was like, oh, I'm not going to give Jamie time, so I'm just going to lunge into it. I think one of the really interesting things that happens at this level of fencing is trying to deduce or trying to decide how smart your opponent is. I think in that case, Jamie thought a step ahead. He was like, Nick won't give me time, especially like at this back line. And again, I could be wrong. It could just have been a reflexive touch, but based on how calm they are and the way they're fencing, I do think that there is definitely an element of planning or preparation from both fencers right now. That was a good example.
Yeah, he's making that attack longer and longer, which is nice.
Yeah. What I mean by what I said earlier is the fact that they were both so ready for this interaction and for this interaction to fail. So like they both had a plan coming forward. Jamie definitely wanted to invite parry. Nick definitely wanted to do a direct. And Nick knew that, again, going back to that idea of spacing his lunge, I don't think he really planned to hit with this. I think he was looking for a remise opportunity. As soon as he saw that parry, he was like, okay, I probably can't. Okay, that's fine, whatever. And equally, Jamie, I think like if he saw the chance to hit there, he was like, he'd have taken it great. But I don't think he thought he would. I think that interaction was both of them just kind of testing the waters. And you could tell by how ready they were for it to fail.
Yeah, and a lot like your chess analogy earlier, they got the opening out of the way, and then they were like, right, on we go. Thank you to the cameraman.
We'll never know. We'll never know.
It sounded like an excellent parry pass.
Yeah, it sounded like a parry post. I wonder if he went straight or with a flick.
So 12-11. But the not even a little dip in focus actually, which is amazing.
Yeah. Again, we see line.
A lot of counter time bait.
Hop in, hop out. Remise.
The same remise.
Yeah.
I would say it's not a good strategy, but maybe it is.
I think it's a great strategy. I think defensively you should be basically mixing up. There's three major defensive tools you have, right? You have getaway go, which I think is extremely underrated. Like you break distance from the attack to show that the attack is over, which I think a lot of people don't use intentionally as much as they probably should. You have obviously parry post, and then you have like counterattack. And mixing them up together is how you get stuff like remise and all these different things. And you want to keep your opponent guessing. You know, one of the big, I think, philosophical debates in fencing is like, if you find something that works, do you keep doing it or do you change? Like, do you expect your opponent to react around it immediately, or do you just keep doing it until it stops working? And I think in this match, the assumption is the opponent has an answer, so they don't do the same thing over and over and over again. The preparation's the same, but the finishes are different.
Yeah. Yeah, that really sums it up.
Okay, so they bleed out the time. Oh, oops, I missed a touch. So yeah, they went straight. This video edits out the minute break. Yeah, we've seen him do that compound action before. Earlier, Nick punished it with the remise. Now he's getting his light on.
Oh, look, it can. In this instance, when Jamie Cook moved sideways out with his feet, it can follow him this time.
Yeah, good observation.
Cagey, still cagey at the end of the match. It's a shame. Every time he got that touch, it was off target. But it's a great touch, the quick wide take, and then. Okay, perhaps some frustration.
Yeah. Personally, I think like that's a really important thing to look for. Is if your opponent's getting frustrated, that's it's kind of like if you're in a fighting game and you dizzy them or something. Like, you know, like, okay, I have a really good scoring opportunity now. Like, getting rid of they're
finish him.
I should go for it. Yeah, exactly. Finish him.
But yeah, Jamie Cook's not a lot of target to land on, which can be exasperating. Okay, yeah, he's looking for something to do here. I think a lot of options to try.
So I think this is an interesting touch because I forget, I've seen this so many times, but I think like you hear a blade action, and I think Nick is arguing that, hey, he took. But I think this is one of those things where the coolness factor does actually just override. Oh, I think maybe Jim, yeah. And in other words, like I think that, yeah. So I would say, yeah, okay, maybe like you could say maybe Nick came down with the parry, but to me it looks like, again, upper hand. Jamie looked like he planned that a lot more than Nick did, and that's what sold the touch.
Also, when he pulls his arm out, it doesn't look good for Itkin.
Yeah.
It makes it more like a counter attack.
Body language really matters.
So, a nice flashy touch.
Yeah. More line, more repels.
In and out a lot, very nice. And it works.
For me, I think, like, yeah, this was the answer to that approach that Jamie was doing the whole time. I think Nick did a lot of more going into it. I think he should have done a lot more second intention, like fake counterattacks. I don't know if that was an intentional fake counterattack, maybe not, but I think that would have been a better way to deal with Jamie's like rushing pull attack.
That's such a classic finish from Itkin with the hand up over here and then low down.
Oh, lovely.
Yep.
Just going back to that, just to slow-mo it. And if we think about, do you remember the touch that we talked about earlier, where they both hopped in, hopped out, and then Jamie went straight to line? Again, this match has been entirely built off of like 3 or 4 actual preparations. Obviously, you have the middle fencing, you have Jamie's going backward with line, upper lunge, hop off, whatever, and then you have Itkin's going backward with his own line, upper lunge, and whatever. Here, like, they're doing that middle fence again, where they both hop in and hop out. And I would say, like, if you look at the whole match, there's only those 4 major interactions that every single touch is built off of. So hop in, hop out. That was really nice. That was a really good call out. I don't think you can do that off pure reflex. I really think that like that was pre-planned, and yeah, I think it was a really nice action.
I agree, and like I said, with Itkin making his attack longer, like with more different hidings and so on, and pullings of the arm, there it was. That's the answer. Instead of going backwards.
Yeah, because earlier he'd gone straight, so he was like, so he knew that Nick knew that he probably wasn't going to do line again, or at least, you know, defend with a parry or anything like that. So he's like, okay, I'm just going to go for it instead. But yeah, I think it was a really great match. A lot of meta fencing in that match, and yeah, it's been a pleasure.
What a match! Yeah, absolutely, incredible to watch. Yeah, so I hope you guys enjoyed this this guest commentary with Joseph Schenkel and myself commentating on Nick Itkin versus Jamie Cook. If you did, you know, comment below, and also check out the S-Class Fencing channel, which I'll have linked. I'm sure, you know, most people already know it, but it's very good content.
Yeah, thanks for the shout out. Really appreciate it, and thanks for having me. It's been fun, and yeah, we should do this more often.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.